Yeah.
What is going on, everybody? This is 5-9 Gaming coming back at you again with episode 9, Dragon Ball Legends podcast. As always, I am just here to sound engineer in the beginning, so chat, let me know if there's any problems with audio, and I will get it situated. I'm going to pass it over to Palm and let him take the floor. Go ahead, Palm.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to our Dragon Ball Legends podcast. Today, episode 9, he's coming. And I can already see it in the chat. A lot of you are already hyped. Today we're going to talk about a lot of topics. But before that, let us introduce our guests.
Today we have out right now.
Today we have Bebop.
Now recording.
Oh, I can't do this. I'm sorry, Bebop, for interrupting your intro there, dog, with Craig.
I banned him.
Just kill him.
Yeah. All right, good.
Okay.
Get rid of him. He's out.
Okay, so again, today we're joined by Bebop.
Yo, what's going on, guys?
We have Brad.
What up?
Goresh.
What's going on, guys?
We already heard Nastarachi.
But I'm just going to use my intro time to say thank you, X Noctis, for the raid with 40 viewers. We appreciate you, dog.
He came through. Hey, we're joined by Professor Sensei.
Hello.
Ryuden, the Super Saiyan 3 Stan.
Welcome to the show.
And ZVG is back as well.
Well, go on with people. Go on.
So, before we get started with today's agenda, I would also like to implore you to join and follow us on all our socials. We have Twitter, YouTube, Facebook. We have a Discord, and we now have a Reddit that is in full effect. We hired a bunch of moderators there, so please post all your memes and other stuff that you want to post there on our subreddit. And again, Twitch Prime is not a crime, so if you have Amazon Prime, you can connect your account to Twitch and you can support us for free. With that said, our topics for today will be the Battle System 2.3, Zenkai Broly, Zenkai Super Saiyan Blue, the mission plans, Kid Goku event that is now permanently playable, Rising Battle Vegeta returns, we have Zenkai revamps for Fat Buu and Gohan. We have the Eliminate the Earthlings event, the Super Masters Pack Z pickup. Is there any more mouthy name for that? The Countdown to Black Friday, and then, of course, the stuff that everybody's talking about, the leaks for UI and Jiren for Black Friday. We're going to start it off with Bebop on Battle System 2.3. What are your thoughts, man?
All right, so Battle System 2.3, the long-awaited Rising Rush nerf that we all pretty much wanted since day one. I'm pretty sure, I think the majority of the community is actually pretty happy about that. I was pretty hype about it. And now we've got this new cover change system that I necessarily didn't agree with. I was always, I just the thought of it just made me kind of cringe, I'm not gonna lie. But now, like, I'm starting to kind of get used to it and slowly adjusting to it, so it's not as bad. But I think a lot of more people are like a little antsy about that. They're not so happy about that in particular, but I don't think it's so bad. My only thing is they're probably using this as like a method to basically compensate for UI and Jiren, basically insinuating that they're probably going to be that strong and busted that they kind of had to change the system, like they always do, if you think about it. But as far as that, I'm pretty happy with that. I'm pretty happy with this system so far. I can't, if we see UI and Jiren in Legends, obviously we will soon, we'll understand more why the system changed.
So I agree. I like the system change, but I actually am in favor of them being able to change multiple times. And for me personally, it only made sense. Defensive, like if the offending player is able to switch out to anyone to attack, it only made sense to me that defensively you should be able to switch out multiple times to match with it as well. Because you were limited to only one switch, naturally defense was weaker than offense simply because of that. So this change is welcome, less one combo, so it makes sense. But this also indirectly buffed up a lot of mechanics for characters that weren't as strong as before. So there's a lot of units that have a mechanic where they face a new enemy and they get stronger. Well, by being able to swap out multiple times now, that becomes more valuable. Defensive units have more value as well. So I think it's a welcome change. Same with the Rising Rush too, more risky to use. And it doesn't happen within one or two priorities. So I think I'm in favor of everything that they did for this change. I think it's great.
I agree. The cover change mechanics especially, and the Rising Rush being guessed returning to neutral are the two highlights for me. I feel like that Rising Rush mechanic, Rising Rush should have existed since day one in the game. But finally we got it, and it promotes a little bit more skill-based play. Like Rising Rush itself is still hugely RNG determined, but this new mechanic allows it at least to reset to neutral. So if you get guessed, it's not, oh, I automatically just lost because they just mash out all their cards. So there's a little bit more skill, you gotta re-win neutral and reestablish priority, which is definitely welcome. And then the cover change, like Raiden had already just mentioned, to recap quickly, it does allow you to get full value out of your defensive units and to not be completely abused by the color wheel system in this game. I think that it's a great change. I didn't think there needed to be 2 layers to swapping. Like, there was already the timers that go up whenever you swap. I think that in and of itself is enough. It's very similar to, like, Dragon Ball FighterZ, for example. You have your 2 assist characters. If you call out an assist or you swap to one, you're locked into that character for a small time limit, and then you're free to go about reusing your assists and your swaps. So it being more similar to that is also very welcome for me. The combo compensation and the Dragon Balls don't really affect me too much in terms of my playstyle, because I always kind of wait to strategically use my Rising Rush as opposed to expect to get 2 and just spam them out. However, it's nice in combat to not have it be used against me quite as frequently. So I'm in favor of, like Raiden said, everything they did is a good change.
Yeah.
How about that? I really like you can really take advantage of your cover change units early now, because usually, your opponent starts a combo on you and you swap in prematurely, and you're worried that if you swap in at the start of the combo, your opponent can kill you now, and it kind of makes them null and void. You swap in Rage Trunks, okay, well now I'm going to swap in my red unit and take them out. Well, since you can answer the second swap, I think this just adds another layer to the game that it's been needing for a while.
Yeah, and I think it's also cool that you
layer of strategy to the game. And I really like that, because you can't just punish people that much now, right? So say, for instance, someone swaps out into a red unit and swap into Vegito Blue. I have to keep a mental note that they can swap out again. So I have to save my ultimate or pop it early so that I can damage that red unit, right? Or is it just going to swap out? So it adds a new layer of strategy to the game, which I like.
Yeah, I think it also, we talked about Rising Rush and the Dragon Ball thing. That's one layer to the Rising Rush nerf. And I think the multiple cover change thing is an indirect second nerf to Rising Rush. Because you can actually, most of the time you're playing PvP in the old battle system. Somebody cover changes, you're like, okay, cool. They're getting Rising Rush. They can't do anything about it. Now, if you have, I don't know, let's say you're playing on Android and you cover change it to 16, then you're like, okay, I'm going to go into a purple unit and Rising Rush you. Now you can go into your red reviving cell, eat that Rising Rush because you already cover changed once. You can cover change again, and that's going to make you stronger and basically have them waste their Rising Rush. So there's more strategy in determining when you want to use the Rising Rush, and I think it makes it so that you're going to want a Rising Rush more often when you're not even in the middle of a combo, or when you can catch somebody in the middle of one of their attacks. Then you go for the rush, and you want to make sure that you're doing that, sort of catch them off guard, so they don't have time to amply, set up when they want their enemies to take the Rising Rush.
Well, yeah, Raiden would be happy too, because that indirectly nerfs Super Saiyan 3 LF Goku so much. Like, his value, you just save him on the side for that IT forever and use it whenever you need it.
It provided a lot of value for some other units that have reduced sub count mechanics, like Champa, for example. Huge value just went up with that. Same idea with the Prof brought up Rage Trunks. The value just went up significantly, because if you Rising Rush, Trunks' sub count goes down by 10. You can bring it back into the field. So it's just this was probably the most healthy change that they've made, in my opinion. Defensive units just had so much more value added to them. I'm so happy about that. Every new unit, for whatever reason, had the power to destroy endurance. And now that you can swap out multiple times, you don't have to be worried about that anymore. How many times have we swapped into a defensive unit because the punish was too much, and then they just finished it out with an ultimate, and your defensive unit just squandered, done. You're like, well, this guy's just a deadweight now. Defense is pretty weak. Now that's changed. I'm very, very happy with the battle system change.
It definitely prolongs the match more. Now with this change, like not necessarily like that's a bad thing, because matches before this system, it was always like 10 seconds in you get rising rushed, or 15 seconds in you're pretty much dead. You lost the match. But now this kind of like gives you a little more time to breathe, some breathing room, which I like. I have a quick question though for everybody. I'm not sure if anyone's tried it, but I know it's multiple cover changes, right? But is the maximum only 2? Because think about it.
You can keep going.
No.
It's unlimited.
You have
Oh
timers.
god.
Dude, have you faced Champa and Vados yet, bro? Like the
No, I
switches are
haven't.
just-
Yeah, no, you
it's
just keep
so
swapping.
it's so stupid. Like it is annoying as hell to go up against Champa and Vados. They
Definitely.
just switch over and over and over again, and it's like okay.
I didn't know it was infinite. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
you guys-
100% determined by the cooldown timers on the swaps. now.
Yeah.
So if you
I
have
just
the
thought it was
characters-
just a maximum 2, like because
No,
you're swapping both your units. That makes sense though.
I mean, that also means that you now have to keep a note of when did they switch out and when
Yeah.
can they switch back in. Like when you don't use your Rising Rush on a frame trap, but in a combo, you really need to remember, okay, can I actually Rising Rush this unit?
Yeah.
And he won't switch out, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
frame
This whole
trapping.
update just adds.
Oh, go ahead.
This whole update just adds like strategy to the game. Now that's basically what this update did, and it's been so much fun. Like I've been playing so much, and it's just been very enjoyable, way more than the previous battle versions for sure.
Yeah, honestly, I was a really, really big hater on like the previous few battle versions. Even from like the first day. Like I remember playing through the last one, I was like, this really just feels clunky now. But this one actually feels really nice because I think honestly with the cover change thing that happened, I think technically, at least if I were the developers, I would have called this battle version 3.0 because of how much of a difference that it feels to me. I think you can make an argument that this battle version update going from 2.2 to 2.3 is a bigger change than going from 1.0 to 2.0. It really feels that different.
Yeah, like you said, you Gresh and Bebop together had the best points. Were like, A, the matches are longer. The game previously was determined in the first 20 to 30 seconds, usually, which is not very much fun. And B, that allows for you to make a couple more mistakes and not just instantly lose your match in combination with bad RNG. So I think overall the player satisfaction or enjoyment levels just across the board are going to be higher because they've, also improved the quality of life features, menus, all the skip ticketing to 100. So, I mean, everything about this update was pretty positive. Like, other than some lag, some bad connections, and the ever-persistent, like, cheaters who play the game, it's potentially in one of the best spots it's ever been right now.
Yeah. And that's crazy, too, because of how many just, like, ridiculously overpowered units there are. Like, you could even talk about, like, 18. I think she got the biggest indirect buff from this change just because of how much power she gets from your opponent switching characters. I think it's still like not out of the question to like have a decent defensive option against her with how many cover cut units there are in the meta, cover rescue, stuff like that. So even against a unit as like oppressive as Zenkai 18 is, I mean, there's still options there to help you fight against that. We can even talk about the new Zenkai Green Broly, who does a good job with that. Like all these cover change units that are in the game, like the red Super Saiyan Blue Goku, we just talked about the Green Broly, Merge Zamasu, like they all got indirectly buffed because of this, and that's going to help you have more tools to deal with those like Zenkai 18s and Gohans and stuff.
So it's a little scary too, seeing like those cover changed units. Like for example, Vegito Blue and Zamasu. You don't know, like if you use a blast and then they swap out accidentally, they could just swap to another unit right then and there. Like you got to be careful with the cover change as well. Now, like you gotta be very meticulous and specific with your with you dropping combo and landing the hit on your opponent now.
Well, now think about this: you fail one cover change. If you have a second unit cover change, guess what? You can just try again.
Try again, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's the thing. You got to be very meticulous.
I mean, that was also the future team, right? It was like you had Merge Zamasu and Vegito Blue, so you had a cover change for both Blast and Strike. And at one point you probably figured out what your opponent is doing, and then you might change. So yeah, drop combo became just much more important now because you can just redo it over. And if you manage to get him to swap out, I mean, I also remember playing against an 18 that had like 2 or 3 layers of card draw plus, so it's also super annoying if you use the green card, her strike cards cost what, 13 key? She can go on forever.
I've had her strikes cost like single digits.
Yeah, that's like another green. It's 8.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
It's pretty insane. All right. So Goresh, you already mentioned him, and I remember Ryuden asking specifically to be the one that talked about Zenkai Broly. So let us know why that is and what your thoughts are.
So I'm actually
Wade, go ahead. I know you love this Broly a lot.
I think he's great. So D-Free labeled it as me being a bit of an optimist, and he's probably right. But I'm just a big fan of Broly, and I really like this unit. I think the changes that they made to him are a good example of what Zenkai should be. In that he's not like, he doesn't come out of nowhere and just destroys the meta. He just came in and he weaseled his way in, and now he fits. He's a viable option, and he's great. I feel like he's a welcome addition to the movies team. I believe he is one of the only defensive units with a cover rescue mechanic, like coming in on Strike or Blast. I think he's one of the only ones. But not only that, I just like what they did with his kit, because you can see what they're trying to go with here. Broly's all about green card, weasel it straight into blue card. You do a massive amount of damage. But they also did a couple other things. If your opponent was to swap out, you gain some ki and you do some more strike damage. And I'm sure a lot of us are like, why that? How does that work? And it's just because if your opponent swaps out to another unit to tank the blue, usually you'd be at like maybe a type disadvantage or something. But the idea is that Broly is not so linear and, one trick phony here where all he does is green card, blue card. The idea was to give him a little bit of a power up so that now you're a viable fighter. He's not just strictly a defensive guy. You just chuck some blue cards. Now you got this awesome combination. He also has passives against like some of the most dominant team in the game right now, being Saiyan / hybrid Saiyans. We all know Sun Family. He's very easy to get his power going. He's just a really fun unit. And one of the gripes I did see, people said like, "Oh, I wish his green card could have been chained to more things." But I'm actually quite grateful that they didn't do that, because he is the only unit with a long range, with a barrier that will knock back at long range. So if his little green card could counter more like tap shots and stuff, it would have just been instant transmission Goku on steroids, to be honest. So I'm glad that the green card did not change. He can cripple very damn well. He's a great defensive unit. He does a great amount of damage when you combine the green plus blue card. And even if you mess up with the green card, because he gains sustained damage cut, they know that, oh, you messed up your green card. Your opponent vanished it. He's about to punish you. At least he can tank it. He just gains sustained damage cut. Pairing that with his defenses, he does a great job. I love this unit. I think he's great. I have a lot of fun with him. His blue card even gives him additional damage too. So it's very easy for him to stack up, and he does half the job for you. It could be expensive asking for a green and a blue card, but when he shows up, he gets green cards. His main ability gives him a blue card. It's an easy combo to get going, and it's very nice to catch your opponent off guard. You bring in Broly while they're doing a blast card. It's like you pop your main, you drew a green card because you brought Broly, and now you got your blue card, and then you just weasel them both together, and pow! You probably just destroy that unit. I think he's great. His Zenkai, to me, is what I think Zenkai should be. But going to the question of should you Zenkai him right now? No, don't do it.
Yeah, 100%.
Don't do it now. I'm just saying that he's a great unit for Zenkai. I think he's awesome, but don't do it now.
It's here till like January, isn't it? January 4th?
Yeah, January. There's definitely more meta-defining, more high-value units as opposed to this Broly, unless you're like a huge diehard fan of Broly. Nothing's going to stop you at that point. But if your question is, does he stink? I don't think he stinks. He would be worth your Zenkai Chrono Crystals if you wanted to.
Agreed.
I just think that he...
No, you go ahead. You go ahead.
Go on. All right. So I just think that the main problem with Broly is that his damage is just, I don't know, something like his defense, his 50% cover, and he gets 70% if you use a green card, right? That's fine. But like his damage, I just feel like movies doesn't really have, support for him other than BoJack. And BoJack right now is, I wouldn't really say a very good unit. So that his damage is pretty lacking, to be honest, for me personally. His damage is just, I don't think his damage is worthy of like a Zenkai unit. Like just a little bit more, and it would be okay.
I think that's because we've been conditioned to these crazy ass Zenkai units. But I agree with Ray. A lot. The one thing I'll chip in right before Goresh, I apologize for cutting you off. But one thing I'll chip in with is I wish his green card wasn't vanishable. I hate that. I really, really do. I wish that like when they vanish, it still hit them like Yellow Gohan and stuff like that. Drives me nuts. That's the one and only thing. I like Vegeta. Maj Vegeta. That's the only thing that drives me insane.
The thing is that this one's long range, though, right? So there would be no weakness to the screen
why
card.
it is.
Range, and if you
that's why it is
you can't do
100%.
anything.
But it just drives me nuts because there's so many times where it's like they'll swap at the very last second, vanish me, and I'm like, all right, well, now I'm just here, I guess. I'm just taking this. That's it. Go ahead, Gresh. You had a point.
So yeah, two things. One, I think they could have gone two directions with this kit in general. The first one was the way they did, which is just give him like a well-rounded kit without giving his green card combo abilities on like every card. Second one was they could have just given his green card the ability to combo on everything and then made him worse overall. But I mean, it's fine. Like whatever. This is the way they went with it. It's not a huge deal. Number two, I think what Ryuden said was absolutely correct in the fact that I think this is like around the power level that Zenkai unit should be. Like, take a look at. I think this is the best example of what power level Zenkai unit should be at. Like, even more so than Super Saiyan Blue Zenkai Goku, which we'll talk about in a second. I think him being like obviously not the best Zenkai, but certainly far from the worst Zenkai. And then comparing him to new units, he doesn't completely overshadow all the new units that are coming out. He's just a solid option for his teams, and he's obviously an insane bench unit because we just got the metal cooler for movies, which this guy can obviously buff up. Same thing with the Green Goku as well. So two really solid green options for the movies team that this guy can help out without even being in the fight. So I think when they consider future Zenkais, like how powerful they should be, maybe take a page out of Broly's book because I think they did a good job with him. And again, I don't think he's good enough to really warrant people to summon for right now. But that's only because of how stupidly overpowered all these other units have been recently. So it's not Broly's fault. It's every other unit in the game's fault for being so good. So I think, I don't know. Yeah, it's not worth giving him your attention or crystals right now. I just hope that they look at the way that they balance these future Zenkais and are like, okay, yeah, we should probably tone it down like more like this Broly.
Yeah, I was just gonna quickly input on that. Like, I think that they started to realize about how they're implementing Zenkais and whatnot. Like, this route that they're taking, like Broly is a good example of how cautious they could be as well. Like, even Namek, who isn't like overly busted, or I mean, I know he's strong as hell, but he's not like what we all thought and feared he would be, in a sense. So this Broly, for example, I feel like they did a really good job of just, hey, like this guy's a Zenkai. Like if you want to Zenkai him, go ahead. It's not like an essential priority because like obviously Super Saiyan 3 Goku as well. Like that's a guy you kind of want. Like that's someone who you want to use to win and whatnot. But Broly's like, all right, he's cool, but it's not imperative. It's not, nothing's gonna happen if I don't. So it's skippable. But if you do it and he's fun and he's actually usable.
Aside from. Sorry.
Oh, no, please go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to ask, so aside from the obvious movies team, what other teams would you suggest running him in, or have you tried running him in?
Only the Super Saiyan team.
Yeah, so Super Saiyan would be a good one for him. So people will find this, you might think it's a bit of a niche team, but I had a lot of fun running him with Turles and LF Frieza, and you can sort of stitch this together pretty darn well because of Green Metal Cooler powering up Powerful Opponent, which both Turles and LF Frieza fit on. I did place the Scouter Vegeta, who buffs up Saiyans and Frieza Force, so they all got the buff. And then your last one could be a Saiyan buffer, just because 2/3 of your starting lineup will be that. And I just had a field day with him. 50% additional damage inflicted, an abundance of key recovery as well. It really does help Broly do a ton of damage. You got that extra blue card mix, and the green card can really be used by Frieza as well. You pop your main ability, you stun them with his green card from long range. You're able to reduce sub counts. You can switch out to someone else. And we just talked about how powerful reduced sub counts are. And it's just a field day. Like if you're tired of your opponent swapping out to say a purple unit, just use the green card with Frieza, and now they're stuck. And then you just go ahead and you pop that blue card and just chuck it at their face. I showed a video of it, and it's a match made in heaven. It's kind of, for me, it's fun. I really, really like Broly. I think ZVG brought up that, Broly, he doesn't have the most amazing amounts of damage, but I feel like what Turles is able to provide him, being the yellow to save his back, provide the additional damage and key recovery, I think he doesn't need too much. I think he has the team ready for it. Now, Turles is not the best unit in the world, but for the yellow slot and what he can provide Broly, I think he's pretty good. I don't know. I really like the Broly. As you can see from me giving this 30-minute long speech, but I just feel like he's such a comfortable, complete unit, if that makes sense.
Frieza works on every team.
Yeah, his support Frieza works everywhere. His support is monstrous. It doesn't discriminate. He is the best support unit in the game for a reason. Well, I mean, with Vados in consideration too, but I just think he's great. I feel like any weakness that he had originally, they helped address with the little strike passive. Very easy for him to get his damage going. And a lot of units have powerful gimmicks that typically are a little bit difficult to pull off. Like if we look at LF Super Saiyan 3, his green card is almost impossible to get off unless you get a blue card with it too. It's super restrictive. But Broly is that one unit where his gimmick is super easy to get off. Green card when he shows up, main ability, blue card. Boom. He does the work for you.
Yeah, I think they specifically made LF Frieza work on every team because they knew they were never going to buff LOE again. So
they're like, why does LOE need a buff? He works with everyone. Just use everyone with
exactly.
Frieza.
Okay. Yeah, use everyone else, but the team he's supposed to be on. Yep.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I can't stop saying good things about what they did with Broly because it's just, I think we can all say we're comfortable with what they did. No one's saying, holy crap, this guy's absurd. He broke the game, or he's unbelievably underwhelming. How did they even release this? We just think, yeah, he's good. If you want him, feel free. There's no rush to it, though. I'm just comfortable with him existing. I think that's the best way to put it.
All right. So speaking about everyone else, we've got another Zenkai, which is Super Saiyan Blue Goku. And another participant on the podcast who specifically asked to talk about this one. So ZVG, go ahead.
All right. So the reason why I asked specifically about Goku is because I just found him very interesting. I mean, to me, I think that he's the perfect example of a Zenkai, right? He's just balanced, right? I remember in the last podcast, we were talking about Cooler and how, defense uniques and offense uniques don't really work together. But this Goku, man, like at the start of the game, like he's a tank god. Like he takes no damage. His green card can heal it all back up. It's just insane. He has the 45% cover cut along with the stats to back it up, right? And then as the match goes on and on, he gets stronger and stronger and stronger while also giving the team support. So he's like defense, support, and attack all in one. Yeah. Right. And you want to save this guy to be your last man standing unit for sure. Right. I think he's on par with not really like on FSK's level, but like close to it when it's a last man standing situation. Also, the fact that he's a better fit for God Key than Vegito Blue because God Key is primarily blast based. Right. And the fact that this Goku, more people will have him at Zenkai than they have Vegito Blue since the ability to Zenkai him is free because they gave out 3,000 free Z power, right? So he's just a better fit for God Key. He's a better unit, in my opinion, and he's just perfect to me.
Yeah, I think they did a good job with balancing him. Like you said, the thing that makes this character different than many other characters, almost every other character, is the fact that he can fulfill every single role: tank, healer, support, and damage. That's all 4 roles in the game. He can do all those things. Because remember, his green card heals him. And if you're running someone like Whis on your team, who actually has aged pretty well, he can just infinitely heal himself pretty much. And then he gets like damage and key back. Like his green card, I remember historically has been like one of the better green cards that they ever made. And honestly, still to this day is probably one of the better green cards in the game. So everything he does is pretty much like top tier. He even restores his vanish with his main ability. So he does like everything you could possibly ask for. And it's not like one of those situations where, oh yeah, he does everything a little well, but not well enough to make him good. Like this guy does everything to the point where he can do every role well enough to fit on every team that he could. Like even some family he's good on there. He's good on regular Saiyans. He's good on God Key. So obviously he's meant to be run on God Key because of the buffs that he gives the tag. But yeah, this guy is really, really good.
I'm gonna be in the minority. I think I wouldn't really place him balanced. I think he's a notch above balanced. I think he's very, very good. There's a very good arguments to be made that he could be better to be run on God Key than Vegito Blue.
No, yeah. When I said balanced, I meant like his kit is balanced in terms of he's not just doing one thing overly. I'm talking
about more well-rounded.
Yeah, well-rounded. That's a good way to put it. Yeah.
Yeah. So
because go ahead.
No, please go ahead if you wanted to finish your thought.
I remember like his one of the things that are make him so great is that his buffs are not cancelable, right? And after those 50 counts, when he busts out the card draw speed, I mean, I have one comboed a full HP last man standing Namek Goku with him without using the ultimate, and I think that is crazy because that is a buff unit.
Yeah, I personally right now this unit intimidates me as much as Goku Black, the green one. Like he hits it. He hits like a truck, and you cannot underestimate that ultimate. It'll do like 3/4 of your HP on its own.
Yeah, that's. I think he's definitely a notch above balance. He's a very darn good unit, very very strong. Like you guys said, he satisfies everything that you would need out of a unit. He does it all, and that main ability with additional vanish plus this huge nuke of an ultimate. He's extremely strong, very very strong. He's quite the monster. I think that 35% sustained damage cut not going away and not being able to be canceled is huge. You tie that with his Zenkai 7 stats, and a lot of people probably have him at pretty decent stars since we got like 3,000 ZR very very easy. He is, to say he's a tank is a bit of an understatement. He can take a beating, this guy. He definitely is a bit of a monster.
Yeah, that 3,000 thing we can talk about later, but also the fact that something else that this guy has implications for is this is the first one of the 1-year anniversary units to get a Zenkai Awakening, right?
I wish it was Wuhan. I wish it was Wuhan, bro. Like it's fine though. It's fine. It's coming.
Well, yeah. Well, that sort of plays into what I'm talking about, because now that we have this guy, we know for sure it's not off the table for them to do this. Like the most recent unit that got a Zenkai was the Namek Goku, but non-LF unit, like this is the latest unit that's released to get a Zenkai Awakening. So I've been saying forever, like Green Golden Frieza is probably going to get one at some point. But all those first anniversary units, like imagine Purple Vegeta gets a Zenkai Awakening. That's like the most cancerous thing I could think of right now.
Lock in for 20 seconds.
Yeah.
Bro,
like imagine they just
like that.
make the amount of times he can lock you in like increased or something. Like I don't even want to think about it, but like that's coming. Like it's inevitably coming at some point. So just, don't be surprised.
So yeah, I've played him mostly on Blue, Purple. I think it's Saiyan. So I played him with Vegito Blue and Super Saiyan 3 or the future Vegeta. And those matches are fun because now Sun Family, it doesn't scare me anymore. Like you could easily take out a Gohan or, the Namek Goku with them. It's just insane. All right. So I guess we can move on to the next topic, which is the mission plans. And yeah, Nas, which one did you choose?
So, of course, I picked the one that gave the most rewards, especially right now where they're like all a discounted price and it was extremely cheap. There was no reason not to go with the Battle Lovers plan. I mean, you just get more, and I mean, it's really not that demanding. However, I will say that I wish that they were a little bit more tailored. Like, when you pick the Battle Lovers plan, it's basically just like you play the game a lot. None of these are really specified for different modes. They're more just how casually you play the game. I mean, it's still great for a start, don't get me wrong, but like, I would love it if there was like a Battle Lovers PvP plan where I didn't have to play co-op and maybe it downplayed the adventures a little bit, but I had to do like 200 more PvP battles or something, That would kind of be the one that I would gravitate towards if they offered it. But for now, especially at the discounted price, there's no reason to not pick these up. Even if you're pretty much a free-to-play player, it's worth grabbing at least this first time while it's discounted. I will say that it is somewhat similar to like a Fortnite-styled battle pass we've seen in other games. So they are expanding their monetization options in this game, which is a double-edged sword. It's good and bad. Like obviously, you're going to have to spend more money to maintain these. They rotate about every 15 days. And unfortunately, unlike traditional battle passes, in other games, you do not earn back the ability to purchase the next battle pass as it rotates in for free. That is something that's very starkly different from this battle pass than, say, something like Fortnite or Marvel Duel or many of the other games that I've played that have these battle passes in them. So every time you're going to have to buy it, But hopefully this does allow them to get a little bit more income from an alternative source than just the raw gacha. And I'm saying that with high hopes, but the gacha's never going away. Like, obviously we'll always have to summon for new characters, but hopefully through like Zenkai, through the battle passes, through like the ticket robots that print tickets and crystals, hopefully they can get enough monetization from those alternate sources that allows them to continue to be super generous with Z power. Like, for example, this update with the new story revamps to the main story, we got 3,000 Z power for the Broly, the Super Saiyan Blue Goku, and the Purple Scouter Vegeta. You know, if they can continue to make money from sources that are not just raw summons on banners, and that allows them to give away, you know, more of the roster, make it more accessible, then honestly, I'm all for it. Again, I just hope that these are like the 1.0 versions of these battle passes, and they continue to develop them, give out stuff like card backs, like potential titles. You know, they don't do skins in this game, but if they ever got permission to do cosmetics in this game, I think that would be really dope. So I don't mind them, honestly. I don't think that there's anything wrong with these battle plans, but if anyone else wants to chime in and add anything, feel free.
Yeah,
free stuff is cool.
What's that?
I was just saying free stuff is cool.
Yeah, so it's a welcome addition. It's just some free stuff. The premium stuff is nice. I would have preferred if that was Chrono Crystal to get it, as opposed to flat out money. Just because, like Nazarachi said, it would be cool if the Chrono Crystals that you earned while you're completing this battle pass at least let you get the next one. It would have been a nice little like feed-in system where you keep getting Chrono Crystals. You can budget a little bit to get the next one. It would have been fun. Keep incentivizing players to keep playing, just because, you know, more rewards are always great. The one thing I will say, hopefully this is just like their first take at it and they approve the rewards, because I would have liked to see Zenkai Souls in this one. That is a version of the most premium thing you can get in the game right now. It would have been nice to see maybe some of that. Maybe like the premium stuff is just extra Chrono Crystals. Would have been great if there's a little bit more sprinkled in there. Some Zenkai Souls, maybe more energy. Like for me personally, I took the easy one just because it gives the most energy. That's what I was starved for the most. And the easy laid back one gives the most energy. So that's the one I chose.
I think what they should do is, so the way this works is there are plan points that you get for completing the missions. And what they should do is they should have more plan points than you need to obtain all the rewards. And so right now, if you take a look at the actual rewards, I think there's 7 steps of rewards for each one.
Yep.
They should add an 8th step, which is the battle pass, premium battle pass for the next one. So basically what that means is you complete every single possible mission in your plan. That will unlock you to get the premium version of the plan that you pick the next time. Yeah. So if you complete every single mission, then you basically unlock the next premium plan for free.
All they have to give you, I don't know who all's watching the stream, but the reward for that stage could be this red stamped seal certificate, right? They don't even have
that's what I'm talking about. That should be the reward that you get for completing all the plan points, for obtaining all the plan points. Yeah,
because you already do get more than you need, right? They already do have more plan points than you need for grade 7.
Yeah, so there should be an 8th step that will have that as your reward, but it would require that you get every single one, which I think is fair.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I agree with that, because the plan right now, it was great for this one-time purchase while it was discounted, but it does fail to like hook people into recurring, like doing this multiple times, right? Like if people have the drive or the option to see where they can earn it again and get sucked into this loop where they're stuck playing the game more, I feel like that would be more beneficial than outright charging for it every time and having that abrupt start and stop point for each one, right?
Yeah, I think the main goal from a developer standpoint of these plans is to just get people to log into the game and play the game, more so than it being a revenue source. So I think that being their goal in terms of having people able to get the next plan for free by completing every mission is achieving that goal more than just charging people money for it.
I feel like since the only thing you get by buying the premium plan is Chrono Crystals, the only thing this essentially is is discounted chrono crystals.
Well, you get other stuff too. Like you get the energy. Like
Well,
Raiden said.
we've always got that.
We don't get
permission.
enough energy. We don't get enough, bro. Like we need way more. We need way more than what they give.
No,
wait. Prof is right. You only get chrono crystals
from
for
the
premium
premium plan. Yeah.
Okay,
if
premium,
like
yeah.
most battle passes for other games will have unique skins, maybe they could have taken 100 Z power from the next All Stars unit and thrown it in there for the premium plan. You know, anything to make it unique. But right now, as it stands, the battle pass is just cheap chrono crystals.
But then, Prof, people would complain. They're like, "Oh, pay to win. They get free Z power and whatnot."
We've already had that. My friend bought IT Goku out of a pack.
Like,
They could be a way of coming back to that, encouraging people to play the game, because you've got to unlock the 100 Z power or whatever it is they decide to give out. But the reward from the battle pass needs to be unique. Right now, it's just another mission that takes up a third of your mission screen and it doesn't go away.
True.
Yeah. I mean, we did have quite some discussions on my stream, Prof. I remember. So if you want to keep going,
well, you
just give
sound
Prof,
like you don't.
Prof
like
hates the battle pass. Prof hates it. Like I'm pretty.
I'm just gonna reiterate what I said in the beginning. Free stuff is cool.
Oh no, I agree. And by the way, guys, anybody listening to me, if you already buy chrono crystals, this is a great rate of chrono crystals. This is probably something you're already looking at. But I was a little disheartened because I thought this was going to be more of a rehash of the monthly missions, and it does kind of feel like that, where I would just pick PvP and start getting all the event rewards from the surrounding events through this battle pass, right? That it would be kind of tailored. For right now, we're getting pumpkins, right? So we'd be getting a ton of pumpkins or whatever from this thing. But everything about this battle pass is just the same rewards they get from everything else, and it just feels vanilla.
Well, that's what they sort of tease it to be when on the video and stuff, right? They're like, oh, you can, if you want to play this way, you can get all your rewards this way, and that's what they said, but it doesn't really feel like that's the way that it was designed.
The worst part about the battle pass is. Okay, I'm sorry. Aiden, you can go.
Oh, no, go ahead. I think I'll
the
let you
worst
go ahead.
part about the battle pass is playing co-op. Like, just take that out, please.
I just need to add that on a button.
No.
Just take that out, please.
No, yeah, but that's a problem with co-op, not the battle pass, right?
Yeah, I know, but it's like.
No, I agree. I don't like co-op either. Yeah.
But it's easier to fix it on the battle pass than on co-op. So if you take co-op out of the battle pass, that's like probably a one-liner on code.
All right, well,
a couple of lines of code, but right,
it would be
co-op
tolerable
is a little bit harder.
If it coincides with one of those raids they release, then it would be much more tolerable than just standard co-op. So hopefully when a raid comes out, it gives credit towards that subsection of these missions.
Does anybody actually like co-op?
No, it's terrible.
I doubt.
I only like
I would
the
love
AI
to see
co-op.
someone who likes it.
I only like the AI co-op.
I feel like the only way people would like it is if they just like it for the rewards, right?
Well, Bebop mentioned the AI co-op, which
The AI co-op is way better than this co-op that you're forced to play with another player. I haven't played that since the Gotenks one. I swear to God, not even kidding. Since Gotenks, the one that paralyzed you, just FYI.
That was bro, I gotta play it for Z power, man. I need Z power, bro. So I gotta play it.
Just do the dailies.
Yeah, do that.
For me, it's the Zenkai Souls, man. I'm starving. I need them. I have to do it. I hate it, but I need the adventures.
Yeah. So one thing I would like to say is that, except for if you're really starving for energy, because I actually haven't thought about that, I think that the first plan is almost never worth it. I think you should probably choose between the jam-packed event plan and the battle lovers plan, depending on what you need, unless it's really energy. Because like you get more chronos on the other two plans, and I think overall mostly better rewards, in my opinion.
So the last thing I just wanted my previous thought was this is their first crack at the thing, so we know that anytime they try something new, we as a community are pretty vocal about how we would prefer if they did X or Y in order to improve it, and they've done a good job of showing that they at least listen and pay attention to it. So I guess just make your preferences vocal. Like we're all talking about how it would be great if the premium rewards were at least more unique and diverse. Otherwise, like Prof said, it just feels like another way to get chrono crystals, which is vanilla and a little bit boring. Zenkai Souls, for me personally, I'm not sure what the other guys would be saying, but probably more energy and skip tickets for sure, because everybody
some card sleeves, some titles.
We need more ways to get energy. It feels like after they changed the energy system, it feels like I'm getting less and less energy every time I play. It's like
Yeah. I mean, look at the rewards. We're usually getting half the energy that we get skip tickets for, which makes no sense because we need, if you're doing the bonus battles for souls, you need twice the energy that you need skip tickets for. So they should actually reverse it.
Yeah, so skip tickets, energy tickets, Zenkai souls, please, super souls as well, because those are all very expensive. So
yeah,
that's just my last
stuff. Closing words. And we move on to the next topic, which is that we now can play the Kid Goku event in a single player co-op. So I guess AI co-op, which Bebop just said. And we got some mission keys to unlock it permanently. Brad, did you even need to do that? Or is yours already full?
No, but I did it anyways. I mean, I 100% stand by the AI co-op being a million times better. Like, whether it be this one or the one with Metal Cooler, it's infinitely better than playing with other people. There's not a whole lot to really talk about it, honestly. Does it give you up? Is it like just his normal thing, essentially?
It's
his normal to get him Zenkai'd.
You use the key, you can do it whenever you want, like it's not going away. So I feel like
I like that.
We know they listen to the podcast, and we've complained, well, at least me specifically, I've complained many times about how these events rotate out because they can only have one co-op at a time, right? They don't have multiple co-op events going at once. So this is a way for them to have it like always available. So it's not like you're under a time gate to complete it.
And infinitely better without other people. Because that was a problem with the Kid Goku one whenever it first happened. It's like, bros, he's free. People are still bringing other units. And it's like, that's still the problem. I mean, if they did that, I'm 100% down. I really didn't even like pay attention to it to be 100% honest.
Yeah, well, you're
with
already
guys,
done with him, so it's not really...
Yeah, I already have him 14-star, 1400%.
But for someone like me who just couldn't, I just didn't care enough about co-op to even attempt this. So mine's like Zenkai 5 still, so this will help me get through this a lot less painfully than trying to wait for it to rotate back in co-op. And I'm assuming they're going to do the same thing for the Trunks too, which I will.
Oh, I hope so.
I will need that as well.
You're gonna need
the biggest problem with the Goku event is that I have no energy to get his souls. I have my Zenkai 7, but I cannot get his souls. I just don't have the resources for his souls, bro.
Yeah. That makes sense. That sucks. But I mean, at least they let you do it at your own pace, right? So
yeah,
you can
at least
do it at your
never
own
leaves, so you can do this whenever.
Yeah, it's the same thing as the Zenkai EX Vegeta, Raditz, and Nappa in that they're here forever. So you have no obligation to rush. Yeah, forever. You're under no obligation to rush this. Yeah, you literally can do whatever you want, and that's why when I always say, if you're aiming to Zenkai the Raditz, Vegeta, and Nappa, just do the daily stage every day because there's no point in doing the one where it takes like 1 billion energy to get them all the way Zenkai 7 because you have unlimited time. So you might as well just, if you're a casual player or you don't want to, if you're not a YouTuber like us, you don't have to do the showcase day one. Then you should just do the daily stage every day because that gives you 50 awakening power per run. You just take your time with it.
Dude, I'll never forget. You and I were just doing co-op at 3 a.m. trying to get this stupid Kid Goku done.
Bro, it was hell on earth, genuinely.
We were perfectly in sync with getting the rising rushes at the same time, but eventually we were just so tired. We're just just fire it away. It's less to think about.
So I think they're gonna have a whole catalog of these kinds of characters here soon, or hopefully, right? And so we already see them giving. You might notice when you're going through the tabs that they label some things as fierce or fierce battle or recruit or whatever. I really think they should have a dedicated tab for all the recruitable units, and so you could easily see all the units you can go collect and finish out through these free events.
They're gonna have to once the amount of these events gets to a certain point,
Yeah.
Right now,
I mean, they already introduced special events, right, in the events tabs?
I think so, but I don't even think Vegeta and Raditz and them are under there.
No,
they might be.
They're in story.
I think it'd be easier for a player to literally just see a list of units that they can go collect and then go finish them out.
That's fair. All right,
and then unlocking. You said the mission keys, right? So we talk about the eliminate the Earthlings as well.
We'll talk about it in a little bit. But yeah, the mission keys you can also get from the rare metal shop. I think it costs you 1,000. So plan how and when you want to play this event accordingly, because 1,000 rare medals is a lot. So yeah, I think we're gonna move on to the next topic, which is basically just more of a PSA, because we're getting the Rising Battle for Vegito. It's coming back. So if you don't have that red Vegito anymore, or you haven't fully farmed him up, you can get him to 14 stars. I think it's a 100 battle event. So
yeah.
Speaking of energy, and he's a good bench unit still for all the Vegito characters and for fusions. I think he's not main bench anymore, but if you don't have some of the units, you can still use him for that.
If you're doing like a sub build of like mostly Vegito, then he's gonna be still bench worthy. But
still, I guess he got a little tiny sprinkle of value just because the battle system changed. Maybe lock-in made him worth it. If you want your other 2 units to just beat the crap out of whoever you locked in, I don't know.
Yeah,
that makes sense. Yeah. But I think other than that, there's not really much to say about this event, right?
They should have introduced this with the Zenkai for him, like a free-to-play one modeled like the Legends Road one, but in Rising Battle format. That would have been a good time to do this for him, because like you all
I would
said,
have preferred that too. That would have been great. Just 50 stages, get Zenkai power for him. 100%, I'd prefer that as opposed to just
better than co-op.
100,000 times and crying for no energy just to get like 30 Z power.
Yeah.
Or play 700 days of co-op.
To this day, none of the Rising Battle units have Zenkai, so we're still waiting for them to unveil the format of how they're going to accomplish that.
Right. And I was hoping that they would also, like the 50 battle stages, overhaul it, as in maybe make it a bit shorter, but reset the rewards, but they didn't do that. So no more Chrono Crystals, I believe. But with that said, I think we're gonna move on to the next topic, so we can have a lot of time for the last topic, which everybody is holding their breath for. Prof, we got not just the Fat Buu, but also the Super Saiyan 2 Purple Gohan Zenkai revamps. And I remember asking you on your stream, should I Zenkai Awaken him now? Tell the viewers what you told me.
Well, I don't know exactly what I told you, if I'm going to be completely honest. But if I'm just giving everybody my frank opinion on both of these units, Gohan is great, but he's not, the team-defining unit like Super Saiyan 2 Legends Limited Gohan is. Buu is most definitely a defining unit of the region team. So if you're a region main, you can keep your eyes on this unit. He has not been, in my opinion, power crept out. In fact, if we're going to full loop back to the battle system changes, this Buu with his lock-in on when he swaps in and healing is just massively more powerful with the battle system changes. But I don't want to rant on that. The main thing I would say everybody that's thinking about picking up these units is, as Palm already alluded to, we've got some big leaks that you guys already know about. These banners are not disappearing in that time frame. Wait until you see the dust settle and see if he's deserving of your team. I think Buu also can go on the powerful opponent team, and he would be pretty good there, but that's not really fully fleshed out. So, if you've already picked him up, you've already made him region. You didn't need me to say anything, right? But right now, I think Buu is probably the strongest, or probably the strongest unit on the region team I can think of. And so if that's your deck, then you can hold out until the new banners drop, and then see if you want to still summon for him.
Yeah, I would say the main rule, or general rule right now, at least, since we know who's coming for Black Friday, don't summon. That's my general rule. Don't summon until we see what the characters look like.
Yeah, this was really, really inconvenient timing on their part, because a bunch of people were waiting for all the old Zenkais to get the new reformatted price point, but then they dropped these two at the same time as Broly and Super Saiyan Blue Goku. That's 4 Zenkais, so if you're trying to keep up, that's just like a raw 28,000 Chrono Crystals right there.
Yeah,
on the back of
you're correct.
On the back of Black Friday. That is something that's right now exclusive to like the 1% of whales to do all.
Not to mention like 50 trillion souls. So
yeah.
Casual 1.2 billion Zenny.
Like I mean, we know that the Buu and the Purple Gohan have been around for a while, but for the people that waited because they knew that the price was changing, this is essentially like 4 new Zenkais at the same time.
Yeah. And I mean, most people could have them at Z1 just because there were still missions for that, but other than that, again, the banner is still going to be there after Black Friday, so if you don't like UI or Jiren, you can still look at the kits, at the units that they will release with, and their banners, and then make your decision after Black Friday, which, for the sake of time, leads us to our last topic before we go to questions, which is, I mean, we've seen the leaks on Twitter. Ryuden, can you walk us through how you found out about them?
Oh, here we go. Gather around, kids. It's time for the meat and potatoes of today's segment.
Story time.
So we know what characters are coming. We've all speculated it for a while. Goresh went as far as to throw it in every single one of his thumbnails, even in a chocolate box. UI Goku and Jiren are coming. How did I figure it out? It started in Twitter. Everyone was sharing it on social media, and I just went based off of time zones to switch it up. And I switched my app store to the Philippines app store, and I saw it for myself too, just to add an extra layer of like confirmation and legitimacy to it. But yeah, it looks like somebody done goofed in the chain. Somebody's very upset. A lot of hot water for sure, but I think we're all super excited. A lot of us thought this is what it could be. I don't know what to really add. I mean, with the rival universe tag just getting buffed up, like it came out of nowhere and it just got a bajillion buffs. We had a bit of a feeling, a hunch, like maybe Jiren's coming too, because the guy basically has 0 tags outside of that. So yeah, here it is. You guys got your confirmation. Video and stuff basically just got ruined. Worst kept secret of E3. So I don't know if anyone else has more to add to it, but they're coming. Yeah, they are.
I mean, we have indirect confirmation that Jiren is like almost certainly coming, at least within the next few weeks here, and that would basically mean he's coming for Black Friday, just because of the fact that they've been building up, the tags that he needs. And there's been sort of like this argument going on where, is Jiren going to be on God Key or not? And I think the major point of contention for that is that he's on Realm of Gods and Dokkan, but there really is no reason for him to be on God Key, because A, he doesn't have God Key. And then B, if he was going to be on the God Key tag, I don't think they would go out of their way to continue creating these tags that are very clearly made for Jiren, like Rival Universe, File for Opponent, and like even Universe Survival Saga in a way. Because we've seen Rival Universe come out of nowhere with the 3 Universe 9 dogs. Then we saw Champa and Vados come out. We saw the Universe 2 EX girl units. And then now we start seeing the Powerful Opponent team getting fleshed out with actual Z abilities like Metal Cooler. So all these things are coming together in a way that it only makes sense that this is who we're going to be getting is Jiren. And then, alongside that, UI Goku is probably going to be the LF unit, because let's be honest, people are going to summon for UI Goku if his rate was -%. So
yeah, they totally forgot about him when Kefla dropped, and they put Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks on that banner. So it's about time to come full circle with that, since we already have the Kefla.
It's definitely, my hope is that everyone listened to us when we said, like, please be sure to save, because just last year around this time we just got step up after step up after step up, and we know that this quarter of the year there's so many super hype holidays that they got to satisfy. We got Christmas, New Year's, Black Friday. We knew that there's going to be a ton of stuff happening. That's why we always said it's probably better to be cautious and hold on to your Chrono Crystals, because who knows. And here we have it. UI Goku and Jiren probably going to be stupidly busted with some ridiculous mechanic. I joked that what if UI Goku doesn't actually have a vanish gauge, but instead uses ki to vanish, so he sidesteps, he loses 70 ki and stuff like that. I don't know.
Or my concept that I made way back in the day, which is, what if when he charges his vanish meter?
Oh my god,
that'd be so broken. Like, please do not do that. Please.
His ki just stays at 100. He doesn't have to worry about ki, but all of his meters function on his vanish meter.
Everyone's gonna run Hercule just to paralyze him so you can't charge. Can you imagine if people actually charge them? Who would win? A god who's reached like the pinnacle of strength, or one Afro boy?
I mean, it's pretty obvious.
He'll have a passive where if paralyzed or faint procs, instead of it procking, he just instantly vanishes into close range and starts a combo.
Oh, it shoots it back at you instead.
If we're being serious, God Vegeta, the transforming one right now, pretty much is gonna be similar. I would think just massive restore for the first few vanishes he does.
Oh, what a great unit that guy is.
I'm not saying God Vegeta is great, but he vanishes a lot.
Yeah, he does.
Do you guys think that his LF is going to be the Kefla Kamehameha? Because I don't think that it's going to be that UI Goku. I think they're going to save that UI Goku for like transforming UI Goku with the LF. But for this Goku, I think it's going to be the Kamehameha into the punch that he gave Jiren when he first became Ultra Instinct. So yeah,
I think it's going to be the Kefla one, because I only see them doing one LF UI Omen Goku, at least for now. And I think that Kefla Kamehameha is way more iconic.
So think of it like this. The ultimate arts is going to be the Kamehameha into the punch. But if the LF procs, it'll go into the Kefla Mehamea.
Well, also keep in mind the background is green, so it's when he fought Kefla.
Is that the moment? This looks like his pose from when he first transformed, and he turns back into the camera, and we first see his face.
Yeah, but
That's
also,
also,
it is. Yeah, that is that pose, but the background being green is when he fought Kefla.
Oh, okay. Well, then I think Nosrachi could be on the ball with what the ultimate could look like. That really could be it.
Right, but just think about Vegito Blue, right? He does the Kamehameha, but when the LF triggers, that's when it triggers the punch combo into dive bomb.
What? He has an LF? I always skip those.
I always forfeit because
it's going to be UI Goku also, so you can probably assume that everyone's going to forfeit or disconnect during the animation because it's probably going to be like even 5 seconds longer than LF Super Saiyan 3 Goku's animation.
Yeah, it's funny you say that, Raven, because Super Saiyan 3 is the longest one.
Well, hey, he's the best one though.
It is. I'm not arguing against that. The LF Super Saiyan 3 Goku does currently have the best LF animation in my opinion.
Definitely Goten. Definitely Goten is the best one.
Let's
takes way too long.
You think
we always seem to talk about UI Goku. What about, like, we all speculating how broken he's going to be and how awesome, but what about Jiren? I mean, because there's like nothing for him.
Jiren's unique is just 200% increased damage.
He's going to be a melee unit, strike damage.
He's probably just going to be Android 18, honestly.
He's got to be strike damage, and his green card has to have the counters, right? Where he just like looks at you, like you do a move, and he just looks at you, and you get blown back.
I'm imagining Dobura's shield, like, you know how he just goes into that pose where he's just meditating, and then it's like it's a counter. Exactly.
I honestly, I imagine him being LF Zenkai Gohan, but just the strike version, where he just does one strike card and you're just dead. And if you switch out, you're even more dead. Yeah.
He's gonna have to have that punch move that like shoots out a laser too. Like, you know how he does that little shockwave and then the laser just shoots out, but it's from a punch.
Yeah, I want his blast card to just be like the stare.
Yeah, the stare.
Ooh. You guys think there's any chance this is a double LF banner, kind of like Frieza and Piccolo?
No, I don't think they make Jiren an LF. Nobody would care enough.
Yeah, not yet at least.
I think Jiren will get an LF, but not this version of Jiren.
I mean, they've got both characters in the icon there. I'm looking at.
I know, but
yeah, we got full power Jiren. We get 2 LF Jirens.
Like the LF Jiren will be the one that transforms. It'll be the one that transforms from this one into the shirtless one, and then his LF will be just that giant red ball that just nukes everything or whatever.
Yeah, this looks like the one that destroyed Kale, because you get that the background looks like the moment where he just like shot her away, looked away, and just said, "Boom."
Hit also, right? I think it was like the same exact scene, like when he did that to Hit, and when he did that to Kale, it was the same attack. It was the same exact thing.
He just blows him into the background and turns his back to him towards the.
Yeah, they literally just like reuse the scene.
Can you imagine if they took a chapter from like in Dokkan? I'm pretty sure that version of Jiren is able to stun all opponents. Could you imagine if he has Hercule's paralysis?
He might. Yeah.
Oh God.
Can you imagine if they did that? Everyone's gonna run God Key at that point. It's like, I'm starting Vegito Blue. Vegito Blue revived. That's how he.
Well, that would actually be a decent ability for like a new hit from the Tournament of Power with like the time cage where he just like stuns Jiren for like however long that was. He was just like holding his hand out. He was just like stunned.
That'll be his green card on a new hit, the Universe Survival Arc hit.
But yeah, I think for now it'll be Goku as the LF because obviously he's like 9 trillion times more hyped than Jiren, and then Jiren will just be like, it'll be like when LF Gohan came out and they had the yellow cell. It'll be like that, I think, where Jiren is just like the normal unit, but he's really really good, and then you have the LF Goku who's just like.
Yo, that yellow cell stuck around for a minute, so.
Oh yeah. Okay, so one last question. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna quickly say, and I'm sure in the future we'll get a LF Jiren like full power, so.
Yeah, he'll be the transforming one, rip his shirt off, go nuts, LF after something like that.
Okay.
Okay, so one last question before we go to the break is what colors do you think they'll be, or what colors would you like them to be?
Please.
I want Goku to be red.
Yellow. Yellow is the worst type in the game, like by far.
Don't.
I want him to be red just so people have to run 2 reds, because we already know for a fact they're probably going to do something stupid like, okay, he buffs, Universe Survival Saga or whatever the thing is called, and then probably Saiyans, and then the last one is going to be Sun Family just to get the most money out of him to run him with Gohan. I hope he's red too, so it's harder to run them together. Please.
No. You bench the Gohan for him.
That'd be insane. That'd be insane, bro. The best unit in the game as bench, crazy.
I would just say red or purple.
Red or purple for me.
Purple.
Yeah, purple's Vegeta's color.
Purple's Vegeta and Merge Zamasu.
Yeah, but
Who really runs them?
If he's blue, I'm just
Who
gonna
really
cry.
won? What a lot
Dude,
of people
A
won,
lot of people.
What PvP you playing?
Godkey's worst color right now is red, so I think that he's probably maybe
Yellow's pretty bad too.
Yeah, I mean Champa's.
I mean,
okay,
they have
but
Champa, but like
he dies real easy.
What?
so
So
the
the one
red
thing,
is like rose, bro. Like
the one thing that says everyone
Red
says
is the
purple
Goku.
because of
The Super
Dokkan,
Saiyan
right?
Goku.
Because that's
Yeah,
my
but
thought
then
process
Goku-
too. A lot of units follow Dokkan, so like I think about UI being purple because of that. Wasn't there a physical one before the official UI dropped, or was that
That's
after?
that's a
No,
free
that
play
was-
one.
I know it was free to play. I know. But it would still line up then. Did he technically come out first or right after?
It was like
With-
the same
At
time.
the same time,
Yeah,
like, that was the
because they
event
released
one.
the Omen purple int one, and they only later Dokkan awakened him, but they released
no,
him
I
with
know
that,
that.
event. With
And
the
I
event
remember
with the
this is like
free-
right when I stopped playing Dokkan, right around that period. But I'm just saying it would still line up then if he was yellow, it would line up with that color wheel somewhat. Then he doesn't have to be purple because of Dokkan. That was what I was saying. And yeah, I mean Vegeta really has purple on lock.
I would take that too, actually, because there's no Zenkai yellow sand buffers. I would take that.
Oh,
too.
they need dude. When you use like yellow, blue, it's like, what am I using here? Like
Plus,
yeah, no, seriously.
there's only one yellow LF, which is arguably the worst one in Piccolo.
He exists.
I think
who?
so. He's a myth, but I've
Who?
seen traces of him.
I see
seen
free
2 stars of him.
You guys watch what you say. He's gonna get his Zenkai and come slapping you.
Who? Piccolo?
Sure.
I mean, the card himself is not bad. It's just he has no good team really. Regen, but there's better options.
just playing
Well,
him. making
Why
him
would you run
great.
him over DKP? It just
Yeah, they
doesn't make
slapped him in
sense.
the face once he came back. They're like, here's the better version of you. You know that meme where it's like, hey mom, can we have this, but we have this at home? That's this.
All right. Okay, so I think we've put our tinfoil hats on for long enough, and it's time to do or have a quick break. But I've been asked to read the first question before we move over. So the first question that we're going to talk about before the break comes from Rip, and he's asking, do you guys prefer tag teams like LOE or Saiyan, or color teams like GGY or BBP? Feels like so many Zenkais coming out that devs want players to run more color teams to get the most out of the Zenkai boosts. So think about those in the break, and we will be back in a couple of minutes. All right, welcome back, everybody. And now it's question time. So again, I'm going to read the question again for everybody. It's from Rip, and he asks, do you guys prefer tag teams like LOE or Saiyans, or color teams like green, green, yellow, or blue, blue, purple? It feels like with so many Zenkais coming out, the devs want players to run more color teams to get the most out of these boosts. So what do you prefer running?
So it's definitely that. Like the way that the Zenkais work, top tier teams are just naturally going to be type teams just because it's tag plus respective color. We see it all the time. The strongest one being the Sun Family variant. I mean the Hybrid Saiyans one. Sorry. But I prefer tag teams. Just harder to counter, really. I would prefer a more diverse team as opposed to just red, red, green or something.
Yeah, I prefer to have like the mixed teams, not just the color counter teams like blue, blue, purple, red, red, green, stuff like that. But I think the way the meta is sort of aiming and like going in a direction right now, it's definitely the color teams because of the Zenkai abilities, and that's unfortunately what we have. Because like if you release 50 trillion Zenkais in like 2 months, like what do you think's gonna happen? Like obviously it's gonna be skewed towards this. Like it doesn't take rocket science to figure that out.
Blue, blue, purple.
Blue, blue, purple is insane.
Yeah.
Prof knows all about that. Prof knows all about that in top ranks. Like everyone is joining that team in top PvP. It's just crazy.
And we want UI to be red. Why?
To counter them, bro. Obviously, like
Please not green. Because I run BBP
Gohan
as well.
countered VB, so like
Exactly.
True. I mean, answering the question for me, for me, it's tag plus color. Like right now, I'm running God Key blue, blue, purple, or Saiyan blue, blue, purple with like Vegito blue, the Super Saiyan blue Kaioken, and Super Saiyan 3 Goku or the Vegeta. And that team is insanely fun. And you can still kind of, deal with a green unit like Android 16, though Androids for me arguably is the worst matchup. What about you, Brad?
Sorry, I zoned out a little bit. What was that? I apologize.
What do you prefer, running color teams or tag teams?
I mean, I still like running like full tags. I've actually been doing a lot of Super Saiyans. I've been having a good time. EX Broly got a massive buff with his lock-in. I love it. It's so good with that because you can just trick people into sending their purple, and then it's like, oh, just kidding, bro. He's actually dead. So I like that. Yeah, I've never been a big guy on the dual chromatic teams. I do like that my vocabulary is much better now thanks to Nostarachi saying dual chromatic.
Dual chromatic, baby.
It just sounds like fire, you know? So yeah, I have to go with like a full-blown like team. Like I like running Future because like it has so many color options. I love it.
So my two favorite teams personally are PPR and Mono Red. Right now I'm running a just weird color variant just to play with the transforming Goten, but I love stacking the buffs through the roof, and you know, my PPR carried me entirely through the second anniversary meta with the hybrids, the purple trunks, transforming Gotenks, and Zenkai Gohan. I mean, and the second part of his question is talking about with the Zenkai boost. I think that the premium teams are going to have both. They're going to be a mono team like Saiyans. They're going to have access to the Zenkai buffs and the colors. Like you're currently seeing on like blue, purple Saiyans like everywhere, and that's just going to be flavor of the month for a while.
Yeah, I've seen that as well. So I think we're going to move on to the next question here. And that one is asked by Corey. And the question is, as somewhat of a free-to-play, I don't like the new event with the extreme Zenkai 7 units because you need to at least have them soul boosted to 3, and they need to be Zenkai 7. So do you guys recommend that free-to-plays use their resources on the extreme units? I think we've talked about this a little bit.
I recommend that you do, but just over time. Like Goresh said, there's really no need to rush it. So just do it at a leisurely pace. Prioritize other units that you use more frequently, and just do this when you can. Like, there's no need to rush it.
Yeah, just because they release the event now, I'm pretty sure that Saiyan event is literally forever up. So I wouldn't, just because they release the event now, don't feel obligated to rush it and get it done right away. Just take your time with it. Do like the 50 Z power or 50 awakening power stages a day for all three of those EX Zenkais, 100, sorry. And then eventually you'll get it done. It's not going to be instantaneous.
I'm assuming they're talking about getting the Chrono Crystals for the upcoming banner, because you get a fair amount. You get 200 per Zenkai, right? On top of like 900 in just that event.
Well, yeah, but again, it's not meant to be done right away.
Oh, I agree. I think this just kind of shows you going forward. Finish them as fast as you can, but without going too quickly to like run out of all your resources. You just got to micromanage. That's just how it is. And it's a lot cheaper now, only spending 10 Chrono Crystals to refill your energy. So if you're like super close, maybe it's worth dropping that 30 like crystals to refill your energy to get them up to Zenkai 7, or if you're like super duper close to it, just to do that event for sure to get the CC for Jiren and Goku.
Wait, so that Fears battle eliminate the Earthling, that's permanent?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, because there's no timestamp on it. I'm looking at it right now. I don't see a timestamp, so it doesn't say like it's 2 days, like, you know, or 2 days left or whatever. So I think if you're free to play, I think the better option, like everyone pretty much said, like Rush said, just, you know, take your time with it. There's no need to rush. I know it's tempting with all the Chrono Crystals and upcoming hype banner, but just take your time with it. Save your resources.
Yeah. So just for public knowledge, on DBZ Space, this event is up until January 1st, 2030. So we have some time.
Nice.
Just a little bit, but hurry.
I'll only be like 37. That's not bad.
All right, and still praying legends, of course. Okay, so the next question is from one of our regulars here, Ryan Telukter, and here's asking, do you think the increase in, and I would like to direct this specifically to Prof, do you think the increase in generosity in terms of CC was largely due to the fact that Zenkais are very prominent now?
See, that's where I didn't feel like the missions or anything felt generous to me at all. And I believe Goresh and them alluded to just how many Chrono Crystals you needed to try to stay up to date with this latest patch. The rate of generosity might feel like it's increased from Bandai, but I feel like with the rate of Zenkai and the new banners that you need more crystals and souls and everything else than you've ever needed before in the game. So I'm sure somebody out there has crunched the numbers. They can say more value or less value or not. But me personally, yeah, it feels like it's all been a wash.
I would agree to a certain extent as well.
Yeah, yes and no.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm on the side of saying like all generosity is just generosity. I don't understand. I know that there are more things that could be spent on, but I mean, they're still just giving more. I mean, just don't spend it on the thing if you're not interested.
Yeah, if you're not going to run the team, like if you're not using Super Saiyans in movies, there's no reason for you to Zenkai Broly at all. Even if you're only running Super Saiyans, probably not worth it. Like, so save it on that one. Save that CC they gave us. Save the Z power, whatever else. Slowly get them there. Maybe you want Z1. Instead, normally you go Z5, Z6, whatever.
Well,
yeah, I agree.
You know what's funny about the leaks that we got also is it gives us a little bit of insight into what's coming when we're not supposed to really know. So if you're somebody who's saving your crystals or you're unsure whether or not you should, like if you're somebody who's like, oh, I'm on the fence about spending on like, I don't know, Zenkai Goku or Zenkai Broly, like, well, now you know what's coming. So you can make a more informed decision instead of just guessing, right?
Yeah, if you don't care about the end of Super or any TOP stuff and you're one of those people that's just like, I didn't really vibe with Super, then you could probably skip Black Friday, or at least this introductory part of it. There's probably going to be more.
You always have time to just be patient and wait it out. Like, once you know what's coming, just see their kids, see how they play. If you want to pull, then pull. If you don't, then by all means Zenkai, whoever the hell you want. There's literally no rush. Nothing is ending soon, so there's nothing right now like any Zenkai or anything that's going to be like, all right, if you don't do it now, it's over, dude. Like, you always have time. So I guess a lot of people always forget that, you don't always need to catch up, the next day. Like, take your time with it if you're free to play as well.
All right, I think we can move on. And the next question is asked by Siddhant Verma. And he's asking, it's a two-part question, but I really would just like to focus on the first part. So basically, how do you guys like the new update and the quality of life changes?
I like it so far. Pretty much to wrap it up, it's pretty nice. I do feel like just a tad bit with the skipping animation part, that new Goku animation, that Kid Goku, it does feel way longer to me.
Yeah,
like it's way longer. It feels way longer. I get the point.
Longer, but if you do 100 at a time, you still are cutting your time extremely down.
Dude, I'm pretty sure.
I'm not sure about that.
I'm pretty sure if you just did the old, if you did it 10 times, the 10 skip tickets, it would not be that much slower.
It would have been the same time, honestly. Just waiting for him to just dash out and whatnot. Dude, that it's cool, but it's like, oh my god, please hurry up! Like,
why didn't it one screen though? You watch it like 6 times, and then it says, "Well, then here's everything again."
That's my only pet peeve.
My brain exploded.
I literally could just put my phone down and walk away and come back and it's still going.
Yeah, just get a coffee. I think the worst thing is if you skip just one energy bar, it still gives you 2 screens and the animation twice instead of just saying, okay, here's what you got. That's it. Now I know be out and go on with your day. No, it shows you another screen. Here's your total, which is coincidentally the same as what you just saw before.
Yeah.
But I mean, if we're complaining about that, I think that it must have been a pretty good update.
It's really cute though, and it's a step in the right direction. And I want to see more of this. And we keep harking. It's fun to make fun of them, but I like it. I just want to say that really quick. But I being able to skip this many times in a row without refilling energy, like we went from going and refilling our energy to spending it to never spending your 3 energy skip tickets, and like it was a mess, and it's getting better.
Yeah, I agree.
The changes though.
I think overall, in my opinion, the update as a whole is really, really nice. Just as a whole. The only complaint that I have is just all the bugs and slowness and stuff that I'm experiencing with it. But that's not part of the update. That's just like a fault of the technical issue that they're having.
Yeah.
But the update content itself is really nice. It's just they need to fix the bugs. It's just annoying.
One of the best updates ever. Like the battle system, the UI changes, the events, the free CC, everything's just amazing, bro. Like,
yeah, and I mean bugs. You can be sure they're working on that. They acknowledge some of the things. They fixed already some bugs, and I mean the slowness. It's a bit sad because they made the game faster, only to now slow it down. But I'm pretty sure they're also working on that.
Title screen took a long time, but now it works. Like it's faster. I don't know if anybody knows if it's just me, but when I first logged in, it was so slow. Yeah, terrible.
Yep.
And I was just like, this is counterintuitive. This is literally what you guys spent so long to fix, only for it to just revert back. But now it's fixed. I don't know if anyone else has the issue.
I wonder if it's a lot of people logging in that hadn't logged in a while.
Nah.
Oh, that's a good thing.
Well, no, like if you get the glitch from the cooler event and it kicks you out, it takes an eternity to log back.
Oh god, that dude! I did that like
that
17 times on my stream.
Yeah, so
it was just like, bro, stop.
So there was the glitch with like the keys for the Saiyan event. I had to log out and log in 8 times to finish the event.
Yeah, and people had to renew their data or sync it or something like that.
Yeah, and so I'm not even gonna bother. I haven't even opened the cooler event yet. I am not stepping foot into that event until the bug is fixed. I'm not dealing with that.
I mean, you can't play it unless you don't have energy. That's the only thing, like if you don't have energy and you want to play one of those 5, 10, 15 battles, then the bug happens.
Yeah,
Other than that, you're fine. Yeah,
you have to have your natural energy, not your fancy energy tank.
Oh yeah, sorry, the 10 stamina bar or whatever, energy bar.
You got to have the normal stuff that you generate.
Yeah, I'm not dealing with that. I'm just gonna wait.
If it's a bug, man, they're taking a while to fix a pretty important bug on that one.
Yeah, for real.
They should.
That's pretty disappointing.
They should definitely increase the time it releases or.
Yeah, well, they said they were. Yeah,
they did. Okay, I didn't see that. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I think we have time for one more question, and that question comes from AJ. And the question is a bit longer, so listen up. Now that the update came out and fixed various things about the battle system, could PvP be next to be updated? So I'm guessing what else could be done? I would love it if they added search options, for example, no Zenkai teams, or even just disband options that doesn't cost RP. What would you like to see to make PvP fun again?
What? Why would they give you the option to pick and choose your opponents?
Well,
I mean, that'd be cool if you were going into a mode that had a specific rule set, but being able to selectively queue against who you wanted in general PvP would not work.
I think you just set like priorities is what he means. So you would set like not necessarily not fighting against Zenkais because that's like the game nowadays. But like if you go into a thing like people who lean to not using Rising Rush, I don't know.
I think the only part I agree with is the second part. Having a disband option and it show the people's like connection that like before you queue in, like Dragon Ball Fighters, where it's like, here's this person, you matched. It doesn't show the rank or anything like that or their team. It's just like, here's the person, here's their connection bar. Do you want to match? Yes, no. Like, give me that. I agree with that. I would love to see that.
I'm still waiting for season 2 of Ultimate Battle. Because
right?
honestly, I think that concept was actually pretty interesting, and like they just did one season, and then they just, I don't know, maybe they saw there was a lot of negative feedback about it, and they just scrapped it. I don't like that. So yeah, this happens in Dokkan as well, where they get negative feedback about a certain feature or a certain mode, and then instead of improving it and trying to make it better, they just delete it. Like I don't get it.
So
like there's obviously ways there's obviously ways they can improve the mode. And there's negative feedback because the mode isn't what people liked or what they expected. So instead of deleting it, why don't you just try and make it better? Like, I don't get it. Because they even said, our plan is to do this every other season. So,
yeah, like rotating rules, and they hyped that up pretty well.
Yeah, I think special rules is actually an interesting concept for this game because, like, yeah, PvP does get stale after a while. But if you have rules where it's like, I don't know, what if one season it's like, oh, hero units have, like, 100% extra health or something like that. It can make things interesting and like make people use the units that they haven't used before.
Yeah, I mean that's not the way your Marvel Duel game does, right, Nas?
Yeah, I mean there's just rotating different game modes, and like it'd be cool if they did like a draft mode like for this game where it offers you like 2 different choices and you pick a character, and it offers you 2 different choices, you pick a character, and then you build a team just out of what it offers you, and then you go and you see how many wins you can get without losing 3 times, right? Something like that could be developed to work in this game, and it would be awesome.
That'd be interesting, to be honest. I mean, anything can spice up PvP at this point, like anything.
Yeah. And that's just something I just now came up with off the top of my head, right? Like anything like that, different modes. They could do a season of Ultimate Battle that's like that, where every day you build a new team, or I don't know, you just go until you lose 3 times, and just the leaderboard is who made it the farthest, right? I don't like.
Well, to be fair, you say you just came off the top of your head. That kind of feels like Legends half the time. The developers are just like, "That's a good idea," and they put it in. And we're like, "Stop that!" And like, oh, hold on, sorry.
Right. Some of them are good. Some of them won't work out, but you'll never know unless you test it.
It's weird how we've gotten to a point now where, like, remember how we always said, like, oh, it'd be so cool if we had a mode with no Rising Rush, and now it's like, I don't even mind Rising Rush that much.
I was about to say earlier on the podcast.
It doesn't even bug me anymore. Like, it's like, because half the time causes me to win. I get them down to 1 HP, they match me, and then I just vanish and tap attack them. So, although that's probably going to wear off once people learn more of the actual, like, getting all the muscle memory down again.
Prof?
Due to the ability to cover change and be more defensive, you almost need it, especially versus Vados. You will not kill that team. Like Rush is we're almost back to. I don't know if you guys remember. Of course, you remember the release of Z7 Boo. Like the people that had him, he was near unkillable, right? He was an outlier situation where people were saying that you had to have Rising Rush to take care of this unit, and we're drifting back towards needing Rush again.
Well, okay, I think that was more of a problem with the team rather than
Regen
the battle
meta,
system at the time. Yeah, it was just them being incompetent again with the team that they created. Like that regen meta was probably one of the worst metas ever, just because people would literally just quit the game. Like they would leave the fight in the character select screen, because if they saw you at Zenkai Boo, they knew they wouldn't be able to fight you. They knew they wouldn't be able to kill you. And the match would run out of time, and you would end up winning, but it wouldn't be worth sitting there for 10 minutes playing the match. So it was just boring, a boring meta, and really, really bad. And
yeah, I don't want people in the chat saying they want proximity chat in Legends. I don't want that. I would have to blur so much stuff on YouTube. I don't want that. The things you all would say in proximity chat.
If Call of Duty taught us anything.
The in-game message system is as far as we're ever going to get to being able to directly troll people in this game.
People can't even choose what they say, and they still found ways to be toxic based off of what they gave us.
Oh man, a well-played
change their name and wait 72
If people are able to do that with what they got, giving them proximity chat will be the worst. It's not even a question about it. Not worth it.
Yeah, the developers knew what they were doing. Like when they put in that boo message, it's like dry your tears and let's get to fighting and stuff. And then you send that to someone with a good party. It's like, okay, we know what's going on here.
You haven't shown me that you can pack a punch with this update. Ha!
Oh yeah, like come on. They know what that is. They wrote the BM messages for you.
Yeah, but they made it PG.
At least.
At least there's that.
Yeah. All right. So I think that that's good enough. So that concludes our podcast. If you want your question in the next podcast, then keep your eyes peeled on our Twitter account. We will post a questions thread Fridays before the podcast. And if you answer with your question, you have a chance of having it read in the podcast. With that said, make sure that you also check out our other channels. We have YouTube, Twitch, Twitter. We have a Discord server. We have a Facebook page. And again, we now have our Reddit page with the first set of mods that are working on kicking it into high gear. So check that one out as well. And with that, that's it from 59 Gaming for Dragon Ball Legends Podcast Episode 9. Have a good rest of your day, a good rest of your night, and we'll see you in a week. And this one will premiere on YouTube tomorrow.
I also
bye, everybody.
Throw out that thank you K_INX for the 100 bits. I Smoke Almonds, thank you for cheering 5 bits. JOAOO Games, thank you for cheering a bit. And Reflexes on YouTube 22, thank you for cheering 130 bits. Really appreciate all of y'all.
And if you're on YouTube, check the description of every single video. It has all the creators that are part of that video. So check everybody out. Props over there killing it over on Twitch. Nas has been around over here. Palm is over there killing it over on Twitch. Check everybody out. Make sure you do.
And we will also be back, I believe, in like a couple hours. Nalar wants to do a live format video talking about some console stuff and other video game news. So if you are still available, we will be going back again live on Twitch. Make sure you hit the follow so that you can get a notification when we go live again.
And don't forget that we will also be back with the reaction video to reveals and stuff. And we will also pretend to be surprised.
Yes.
Yeah, that's going to be our final hurrah on YouTube before we attempt to hit partner on Twitch. We hit the button. So we're going to do the final reveals and stuff on YouTube. And then pretty much everything live will then be formatted over on Twitch. But we can get into that official announcements for all that later and stuff.
Yeah. I'm already practicing my speech for how hype I'm going to be.
Why don't you be a bamboozle and we get something entirely different?
Oh, it's gonna be something totally different. It's like, all right, bro, here comes UI. And they're like, yeah, you got Dispo, bro.
Well, they still might have. They still might have.
Dude, imagine
They still might have some cards up their sleeve to surprise us with. We never know. I mean, obviously Jiren and UI Goku are the biggest, but they still might have something else. You never know.
EX Gogeta Blue.
Okay, I think before we go off on a tangent here, we're going to end the podcast. Thanks everybody for stopping by, and keep your eyes peeled for another stream in a couple hours, and make sure to be on YouTube and Twitter as well to be always up to date. Take care, everybody. Bye, guys.
Peace out.
Hero Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta.
Later.